Hey BookTube, it is time for a book haul. I'm Jen and I talk about audiobooks. And I have a whole slew of books to show you, which are not audiobooks, but some of them are on audio, so I will let you know when that is the case. I've been collecting them pretty much for the last, I don't know, month and a half or so, so this is kind of an end of summer sort of thing. And I'm going to start off with A Northern Light. This is by Jennifer Donnelly, and my mom got this for me at her amazing Goodwill store, which they have the best book selection. Every time I go there, it's amazing. This is narrated on audio by Hope Davis, and this is basically a story about a young girl. It is set around the turn of the 20th century, and it is equal parts mystery, romance, suspense, and coming of age. That should be interesting. My mom knows me really well, so if she thinks I'll like this, I probably will. The Trouble with Paradise by Jill Shalvis is, of course, I was going to get this. It's not available on audio, but it is a standalone by Jill Shalvis, and right there, that ought to tell you that I love it. I haven't even read it yet, and I love it. Also, it's about a deserted tropical island where people get stranded and have to survive. So, oh yes, I love it. I love it. So yeah, the only thing I don't like about this book is that it's a mass market paperback, because I'm not fond of those, but it's Jill Shalvis and all those other things, so I think I'll take it. Catch of the Day by Kristan Higgins is book 1 in her Gideon's Cove series. It is narrated on audio by Elys Sands. I'm pretty sure that's how you say her name. It seems like I've heard her say her name at the beginning of a book that she has narrated, and I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. It's spelled X-E. And I would pronounce that Z, but I think it's Elys Sands. Anyway, first book in a series about a small town, and you know how I always feel about those, and I like Kristan Higgins well enough. I haven't read a ton of her stuff, but a couple of things, and I've been really happy with what I've read. So I think she has kind of a way with words and an ability to set a scene. So I'm really actually looking forward to this one. Again, the only thing I don't like is that it's a mass market paperback, but I think I can get over it. Elsewhere by Gabrielle Zevin is narrated on audio by Cassandra Norris, and I have it on audio. I haven't listened to it yet. This is a YA novel about a girl who has died and some things she has to do in the afterlife. And Gabrielle Zevin wrote The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry, and that is one of my favorite books of all time, which I think is right here. Yes. And so based on that, I think I'm going to love it. I don't know how her YA writing is, but I think that probably it's amazing. Scribbler of Dreams by Mary E. Pearson is the same Mary E. Pearson, yes, that you're thinking of, that has written all that YA stuff. This is also another YA novel, and it's one of her earlier works. It's narrated on audio by Kate Rudd, and I've actually listened to it before, and it's been a while ago, but I really enjoyed it. It's the story of a girl and a boy from families that have raised them to hate each other. But like these families, generations have gone by that they've hated each other, kind of like the Hatfields and the McCoys. So they rise above that and kind of fall in love, and so it's the story of how they work things out. And on a broader scale, it's what kind of an impact that has on their families as their families struggle to understand them. So I really liked it. I thought it was well written, and Mary E. Pearson, she has become one of those authors that you know when you see that she's written it, that you can depend that it's going to be good. So I can verify that in this case because I loved it. And Kate Rudd, of course, was fantastic. After the Snow is by S.D. Crockett. This isn't available on audio, but I saw it, I think, at Book Outlet, and noticed that it is post-apocalyptic. It has to do with a 15-year-old boy and him surviving in the snow somehow. So I'm going to put this one aside until there is actual snow on the ground, and I am bemoaning the fact that it is not beautiful summer. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I can read this and then go straight to the Jill Shalvis book and like imagine that I'm on a tropical island or something. I don't know. I am such a summer person, and anyway, this looks good. I don't know what kind of ratings it has on Goodreads, but it's post-apocalyptic YA, and so it's right up my alley. And lastly, I could not pass this up. I just couldn't. I picked it up off the shelf and I thought, oh man, I gotta buy that. It's called A Great Kisser. It's by Donna Kaufman, and I looked up Donna Kaufman, and apparently she writes a lot of stuff having to do with Scottish men, adult romance. There isn't an audiobook to go with this because it's just too old. I think it was written in like 2007 or 9 or something like that. But, you know, it's romance, and it's about a guy who apparently is a great kisser. So I will have to read it and let you know. But if you read this, let me know and tell me what you thought of it. But anyway, I haven't read anything by this author, so I don't know. Maybe it'll be fabulous. It's not a mass market paperback, I can tell you that. It has that going for it. And now on to Dollar Tree, where, man alive, I have just hit the jackpot so many times lately. I've been, you know, headed in for something else and happened to walk by their bookshelves, because you should always check their bookshelves if you have the time, and I have, and holy cow, I've just really gotten some gems. You have to dig sometimes, but you can get some real gems. So I found Unstoppable. This is by Shannon Richards, and it is book 3 in her Country Roads series. There is no audio for this, and I have read the first book in this series called Undone, and I think I got it as a free ebook. So it was okay. It's set in a small Florida town, and so if this is anything like that, it's probably pretty good. I don't know. I can tell you it's another mass market paperback, so it doesn't have that going for it. But, you know, I seem to recall that the first one was average, so we'll see. A lot of times in this kind of a situation where an author will write a whole series of books, the first ones may be okay, but then they get better and better. So I'm hoping that's the case with this one. The Mammoth book of Futuristic Romance. There is no audio for this one, but you know, you had me at Futuristic Romance right there. This is a collection of short stories, and I am going to love them because they're about sci-fi romance. I'm all about that. Facade by Nyrae is new adult romance, and it is narrated on audio from 2 points of view by Sophie Eastlake and Jessie Bernstein. Yes, I have cheat sheets on the back. And it is book 2 in her The Game series. Book 1 is called Charade, and I actually read that as an ebook before it came out on audio. I think I may have gotten it for free, and I liked it well enough. I was actually reading a lot of stuff like that at the time, and some of it was good and some of it was not so good, and I think this was kind of borderline. So yeah, I think this one's worth a try. Definitely worth a try on audio, so I'll have to pick it up on audio and let you know what I think. Landry Park by Bethany Hagen is a book that's been on my radar for a while. This is actually YA dystopian, but from what I understand, the dystopian world has a lot of kind of pseudo-royal families, kind of gentry, I guess maybe is what you'd call it here in the US, but it's a dystopian. It's narrated on audio by Leslie Bellair, and it's been around for a while and people have talked about it. There was a lot of hype about it when it first came out, and normally the cover is black, and I saw this cover and I thought, ooh, that's really pretty. So probably I will listen to this, and like I say, YA dystopian, of course I always love those. Purity by Jackson Pierce. This just looked interesting. This is YA. It is very short, not long at all. I think it's maybe 218 pages. It's narrated by the author on audio, and it is a YA contemporary about a girl who is trying to get around a promise that she makes to stay pure until marriage. So I'm not sure if it's supposed to be funny or cute or ironic or I don't know what, but anyway, looks maybe like it might have some potential. I don't know. I don't hold out a lot of hope for it, but when I saw it for $1, I thought, you know, I'd give it a try. Grand Central. This is a collection of short stories. It says original stories of post-war love and reunion. That whole World War II kind of 1940s thing, oh my gosh, I love that. I love the whole romance aspect of that. And this is a collection of short stories that are written by a whole slew of people, none of whom I recognized, probably many of whom you would recognize if you read adult romance. The only one I recognized was Karen White. And this introduction is written by Kristan and it's actually available on audio. I'm so surprised. Normally you don't find that with short stories, but these are all narrated by Carla Mercer Mayer. So yeah, I probably will give that a try. Grab it on Audible and just see what I think. At the very least, sample it. Seeker by Arwyn Elys Dayton is the first book in a series. I think it's the Seeker series. And this is YA fantasy. Yeah, YA fantasy about a girl who's a seeker and she has to go, I don't know, defend the world with a couple of her friends. Something like that, I don't know. It's narrated on audio by Katharine McEwan, and really the back, it says, after tonight there is no going back. I think that has to do with an oath that the main character makes to be a seeker. So yeah, YA fantasy, that might be pretty good. And lastly, Moth and Spark. This is by Anne Leonard. And this is a book my daughter found at the Dollar Tree and said, Mom, it looked really pretty. It's got a map. It's a gorgeous cover and it looked interesting. And so she said, you got to get it and read it with me. And so I grabbed it on audio, and it's narrated by Kristan Coulson. And I'm actually alternating between the audio and the print book. I like both. And I'm about that far through it, and it is adult fantasy, but it's also adult romance. So I would put this on a footing with the Queen of the Tearling series by Erica Johansson. And I say that because, again, it's adult fantasy, although that's kind of an adult dystopian. But this has a really, really strong romantic element in it. So that's what I love about it, is the romance. So great book. Yeah, I'm really glad I found it for $1. She found it, and then I went looking for it. And so every Dollar Tree I would go into, I would look through their book section, and I finally found it one day. And I found several other things that day too, obviously. So that is my late summer book haul. If you've read any of those books, let me know what you thought. Just, definitely do that. Especially if you've read Scribbler of Dreams, since that's the one book I think that I got that I have read. And let's talk about all that in comments. And that is it for now from me. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.